Hello. Welcome back to another video talking about IB tips. Today we're talking about the math course, AA. Sadly, we do not have perspective on the AI course, which is quote unquote the easier course. It's not really the case, they more or less learn the same stuff. It's just that it's at different orders and everything. That's from what I got from the inside. However, I'm talking about the AA course, Approach and Analysis course. My experience with it in mathematics is that the course has enlightened me on a certain thing, but it's the same enlightenment as watching a YouTube video is the best way I could describe it. And that's the best way. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that in typical IB fashion, they cram 7 textbooks down your throat and expect you to keep that inside of yourself and never poop it out. And that's bullcrap, simply put. Mathematics, I have more or less discovered that you cannot cram it. You can't simply just sit an all-nighter and just hope to yourself, oh yeah, I got the skill. Math is about recreation in a sense. It's a list of shortcuts, right? That's the whole reason why addition, multiplication, minus, and division was born, right? Technically, addition, multiplication is just addition but on steroids, right? It's the same thing. Division is just minusing something but on steroids. Simply put, a square root is just division but on steroids. A power is just multiplication but on steroids. Simply put, math, you in a sense have to understand so many of these things, and that basically simply means you cannot teach it in a linear fashion. You cannot. And the IB test knows this. They when they give you a question, it isn't linear. It's always connects multiple areas of math together, right? You can't just simply look at a question and say, oh, I need to do this, and that's it. Right? Plug it in the formula and then boom, you're done. It's more of, I need to plug in the formula, oh crap, there's something I do not know about this formula, so basically I use another formula to find out this certain thing, and then after I found that out, I see, oh, there's another thing that I do not know, so basically I do that. And then I get my number, sure there's something that I do not know in that number that I just found out for this original thing, but still it looks similar enough that I can plug it back into the original equation. And then now you see, okay, this thing looks like this other thing that I've learned. Therefore, I would use that exact thing, plug it back into the original formula that you were trying to find the whole time, and then you find out a certain thing, and then you know, okay, this actually looks like another thing. And then you solve from there. That's what IB math kind of is like. It requires multiple areas of a lot of other stuff to just cram in together. So then why should the teaching not reflect that and be a lot less linear? But surprise, surprise, it is surprisingly linear. It puts everything in chapters, so then boom, you kind of fucked already. You know, you think to yourself, well, if the test is not going to reflect this, why should the teaching reflect something that's not on the test? So quite frankly put, just like everything else in IB, it starts becoming this contest of who can do more past papers. It's not about actually a lot of time learning the thing, but it's about how many things from the past paper can you remember? Because they're not going to just take a past paper and then they're not going to make a new paper and absolutely have no elements at all of the past paper. So quite frankly, if you know a lot of past paper, boom, on this new freak-dragging paper, especially if you're in a little bit later course, because the IB changes its course every now and again. I think it's around 7 years that they change their courses, and then you kind of get flubbed because of that. However, if you are a little bit later on, like, I don't know, the 5th or 6th year, or even the 7th, you actually know for yourself, oh, I could just do a bunch of past papers and boom, this thing's gonna come up in the past paper. Well, that's awesome. Because now you didn't really learn anything, you just learned how to do the things in the past paper. So what ends up happening is that, like physics as well even, A lot of the time it's just who can do more past paper questions and remember more. It's not about who can actually do math for once, right? And so I see it as pretty bad, pretty bad. Moreover, the Pearson mathematics book for both AA and AI right now is quite crap. It's crap in a sense that somehow it expects us to be absolute geniuses. It goes from a certain thing that is pretty simple to, oh my god, what the hell am I looking at? How the hell do you even start solving this? And then you need outside influences such as a calculator. And that's the hard thing about, once the rant's over, I would have to more or less tell you that typical IB fashion, if you actually want to give a crap about math, number one, either just do a lot of the past paper questions, like more or less every single day, trying to go through and see, I should do this past paper question, or I do this past paper question, or I do this past paper question. Because those things are a lot of time going to come up in that form, and you get a good practice of a lot of areas combined together. And that's the whole point of it anyway. You don't need to get super duper good at a certain thing, but it's more you need to get good at multiple things. You have to stretch your wingspan out. So, how would I recommend you to get through Math AA? YouTube videos, simply put. A lot of math teachers, the thing about them is that they have a lot on their plate all the freaking time. And the thing about math is that comparable to, let's say, working out in the gym or something, you get a pump. Math fills your brain with blood. It fills your brain with so much blood, an incredible amount of blood. Math fundamentally is already pushing the human brain past its capabilities normally, right? Like way past its normal capability. It's literally allowing us to do things that we're not supposed to be able to do in the first place. That's the amazing thing about math. That's why a lot of time it's very counterintuitive, in a sense. Because of that, like a teacher, let's say you go to the gym, you don't work out a certain muscle part the entire day. No, you work out this, and then you do that, and then you do another thing. Right? You do many things. But for a math teacher, it's not quite like that. They have many classes that they have to attend to, right? And their brains are being pumped, filled with blood all the frickin' time. And that can get extremely, extremely tiring, right? Moreover, typical IB fashion, once again, it crams 7 textbooks down your throat. So a lot of the time they could be like some calculus 2 teachers in the US or something, where they have to extremely hurriedly try to get through a crap ton of content in the span of around 45 minutes, and they just constantly talk, because they simply put cannot slow down, because if they slow down, then they can't cover this or that certain thing, and then you think, oh crap, right? So then a lot of time you can't have an extremely, it's very hard to find then an extremely brilliant math teacher who is able to genuinely teach you all these things when referring to layman's term, in a sense. And then not say, oh, you just do this, that is this extremely technical term that, unless you've actually cared about it a lot, you wouldn't know what the hell it is. So yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And so because of that, I basically recommend you to watch a lot of YouTube videos. The IB is probably my biggest criticism on the IB. Despite being a program that you have to pay an exorbitant amount for, it is extremely sad that the entire physics course, the math course, and perhaps way more, if anything, if not all of the courses, is found somewhere online. What this basically means is that you could go to school, and I would basically tell you to perhaps not take that many notes, right? Like we're talking from a perspective of someone that, you know, has semi of a bad teacher, they don't explain it too well, and they quite don't understand a lot of things. We're talking from a perspective of someone like that. Then I would just recommend you to give all your focus on, you know, what the teacher is telling you right about now. So say, I don't know, you're learning a certain topic in math, just focus on that. Just focus on that. Don't even take notes. You write down the things that you don't understand. You try to formulate it. That's the only notes that you take. You go back home, boom, you turn on a YouTube video. Oh, boom, you turn on the YouTube video the next day just so that you give your brain a little bit of a break. That's how you do things. So in a sense, you leverage yourself, you leeway yourself into a certain other state to see a certain thing from a different perspective. It's more or less what I'm recommending. If a YouTube video doesn't explain it well enough, then go to the next one. You have choices. Unlike the IB classes, a lot of time you don't have, you know, the greatest freedom of choice. So basically that's what I'm telling you, is that to survive the IB and to get through the IB, look up extra content, simply put. You know, I have even more rant on especially the physics course, because the math course is quite complex already, and it just expects us to do all these extremely fancy things that they just expect us to understand it, which is bullcrap, right? And then they try to shove it down really quick. It's just, no, unless you're super duper smart, right? Or literally have no social life and can just grit through everything, then yeah, maybe you can do it, but not everyone. So basically, my recommendation is just look up other YouTube contents, legit. Like, sit back, relax, and just watch some YouTube. Be like, oh, okay. Say something, good example would be, say you're learning about the Taylor series in math later on, like way later on, and then you hear it for the first time, where you can think, what the hell is happening? Watch some videos on it. There's a 3 blues 1 brown video on it that explains it quite great. There's the organic chemistry tutor, and there's way more videos about these certain topics that explain them in not only layman's term, but explain them in depth and very well. So basically, watch these things. I just think to myself, dude, just do that, right? And if you say it's gonna take a lot of time, well then, look at the videos of IB and life balance. That's the whole point of the IB. It's kind of supposed to be hard. It's kind of supposed to ask you, how much are you willing to dedicate yourself to your craft? Yeah, so if it seems absolutely ridiculous and you're considering joining the IB, don't. That's completely fine. If anything, I would say it would kind of benefit you not to take the IB. Just because it's so ridiculous, the amount of work that they force you to do, in a sense. That you would have to do to understand a lot of things. Surprise, not everyone is extremely lucky with a massive fucking brain and can understand everything first time. So, simply put, that's my tip. Math course is quite bad. Quite bad. But I would more or less say, if you don't understand something, you could ask the teacher, ask your mates, or even better, you watch online YouTube videos. Okay? Just think to yourself at the end of the day, I'll probably say, it's only 2 years. Right? It's only 2 years of your life. Humans live on average up to 79. What the hell is 2 years gonna do? Huh? What the hell is 2 years of little social life gonna do to you? I'll tell you this, not that much. Like, well, sure, what will happen if you don't have a lot of friends in high school and in uni, huh? Like, you still have an entire life in front of you. You still have your 20s, your 30s, like what? At 30 you just sat down and have a family? Hell no. So more or less, math course is botched. I don't think it's the greatest math course in the world. It crams too much down our throat. Yeah, that's about it. The IB math course, once again, I really want to say it's crap. But you get through it.